Okay, we're about to leave. I'm a little nervous, probably more excited than anything. See you guys in Costa Rica.
Costa Rica.
And then our flight left around 5:30, and while Skylar planned to brush up on his Spanish, he forgot his headphones, so instead we spent the flight doing a little pre-trail recon. I had put together most of our itinerary while he was working, so this was actually Skylar's first time seeing where we'd be hiking each day and where we'd be staying each night. Guidebook in one hand and far out in the other, comparing mileage, villages, and all the other stops along the way. We landed in San Jose around 10:30, breezed through customs, and grabbed an Uber straight to our hotel, because after a long day of travel, negotiating taxi fares was not the adventure we were looking for. Good morning! We got in late last night and we finally made it to San Jose, Costa Rica. Day one. We're gonna go have breakfast and then we're gonna go to the train station. And then from there, we're gonna take a bus to Siquirres. And then from there, we're gonna take another bus to Cano Blanco. And then we are going to get on a water taxi. And then we're going to Green Gold Lodge. And then we do a 2-mile walk to Green Gold Lodge. Let's get it. We spent our first night in San Jose at the Radisson, and honestly, it was a solid choice. The breakfast buffet absolutely delivered. Honestly, the most convenient was the location though. It's really close to the bus station, which matters a lot because if you're starting the trail, you want to catch a bus no later than 8 a.m. so you don't miss the last water taxi of the day. And starting a thru hike by immediately messing up the logistics would be a bold move. We arrived in Siquirres. We were on a tight schedule to get to our second bus stop. Despite our best efforts, we missed it by less than 10 minutes. So we made it to Siquirres and our bus got in late. So we didn't make our connecting bus, which means we have to wait like 3 hours until our next bus, but we're having a Coca-Cola in the meantime. So now we had 3 hours to kill and we decided to stop at a soda down the street for a bite to eat, and then we just killed some time reading and waiting at the bus station.
It's all gonna be like video of you. I'm also here.
Once we finally got on the bus, I basically fell asleep immediately. The next thing I knew, I woke up to what I can only describe as a full-on banana parade. Mile after mile of Chiquita and Del Monte plantations rolling past the window and actually stopping traffic. Before we knew it, we made it to Cano Blanco. Now this part can be a little tricky. We took a bus all the way from Siquirres to Cano Blanco. From there, you must take a water taxi all the way to Paris Mina. And then you take a 2-ish mile walk to Green Gold Lodge. So when our bus was running behind and Jason from Green Gold Lodge offered to pick us up for an additional cost and take us directly to Green Gold Lodge, the answer was a no-brainer for us. If that ride was any indication of how cool this journey would be, I knew that we were in for something super special. We knew that Green Gold Eco Lodge was a lot of people's favorite stay on the entire trail, and we immediately saw why. The moment we stepped off the boat, we were spotting wildlife everywhere. It's such a peaceful little lodge right on the beach where you can relax in a hammock or keep an eye out in the trees for sloths and monkeys. We dropped our bags in our room, put our swimsuits on, and found out that we had the entire room to ourselves. We headed straight to the beach to put our feet in the Caribbean Sea before starting our sea-to-sea journey in the morning. After that, it was back to the lodge for dinner and then to head to sleep before a super exciting first day tomorrow. Oh man.
Good morning. I look so tired, but I feel very well rested. We had this rain ASMR so thick and heavy last night. I slept like a rock. Yeah, we're gonna do 14.7 miles today. We're gonna stay at Casa Yolanda from the Green Gold Lodge. Green Gold Lodge is amazing. I'm feeling tempted to spend my entire trip here. It is so beautiful.
We ate our breakfast, packed up our belongings, and then waited as long as we could for the rain to stop before heading out on a super exciting day. From Green Gold Lodge, Jason runs a small water taxi that takes hikers to the official starting point of the trail at Muelle Goshen. The boat ride alone felt like a wildlife safari. We spotted howler monkeys, spider monkeys, capuchins, so many birds, and somehow our new friend Lottie, another hiker starting the trail, managed to spot a sloth way up there in the trees. Also saw some crocodiles as we got closer to our first stop. Jason usually brings hikers to the Caribbean Ocean viewpoint before the start, but since we had already dipped our feet in the water the night before, and when we arrived, the trail had flooded over the beach access, we decided to skip the optional walk and get moving. We did, however, make one important stop at Lirio Lodge, where we signed our names and the date in the first trail log. And then it was on to Muelle Goshen, where Jason dropped us off, said goodbye, and just like that, the hike officially began. Day 1, 14.7 miles to Casa Yolanda. We were now starting our first full stage of the trail, stage 1B, Muelle Goshen to Cimarrones. Much of the trail winds through agricultural land, banana farms, cattle pastures, and we immediately felt immersed in the Costa Rican landscape, culture, and weather. While the elevation here is almost completely flat, this section is no joke. The real challenge is the heat and the humidity, with very little shade or sun protection along the way. About halfway through our day, we stopped at a tiny roadside town called Sahara to replenish our electrolytes and, of course, treat ourselves to some ice cream. Leaving Sahara Town, we were incredibly excited to stumble upon a two-toed sloth. I can't believe we got that close. What an incredible experience and a great start to day 1.
Look at this sloth. And we think that that little arm is like a baby that it's holding. How cute!
Second half of the day felt even hotter as we passed through more banana farms until we spotted a dead snake on the road. We looked it up and realized it was a Terciopelo, also known as a fer-de-lance, one of the most venomous pit vipers in Central and South America, and honestly, one of my biggest fears out here. After that little adrenaline spike, we kept moving, eventually passing pineapple plantations, crossing a small river, and then the sky opened up with a light drizzle, something we quickly learned would become a daily afternoon routine. Picked up the pace and made our way to Casa Yolanda, where Yolanda absolutely spoiled us with a cozy bed, a warm shower, some laundry, and a table full of fresh fruits to try before dinner. After a long, hot first day, we sat out on the porch watching the rain and passed out around what hikers call hiker midnight.
Buenos dias! Buenos dias! It's day 2 on the Camino, day 3 in Costa Rica, and we are about to start our hike. We're gonna have some elevation gain today, not too much. We're heading to Las Brisas to stay this evening, and then tomorrow we head through the Indigenous territory, which I'm personally very excited about.
We headed up the trail to Casa Temendua to pick up our friend Lottie, who we are excited to hike with again today. Today was a little bit more climbing than yesterday. Nothing too intense, but enough to earn some really beautiful views along the way. During one of our climbs, I noticed what looked like cat prints in the mud and pointed them out to a few of those hikers. That said, there are a lot of dogs in Costa Rica, so it's always important to not get those mixed up. When we reached the top of the climb, we took a break for sandwiches and sat in the shade watching a horse nearby. Everyone seemed to be feeling the heat today and could use the extra hydration. Thankfully, before long, the wind started to pick up and the sky shifted. Then the rain rolled in, cooling down everything. By the end of the day, we reached Etapa 3 Mahone, just outside the Indigenous territory.
But I think, honestly,
They're looking at ants.
They built it, it was like, it's like, they use their like saliva.
We had arranged to stay with Alex that night, and we weren't exactly sure where. So we stopped at the school and learned that the Escuela and the Campamento were already full with the Uri Trek groups. Instead, they coordinated for us to stay at the Women's Center nearby, which ended up being perfect. Beds already made, and even a shower was waiting for us. Honestly, the timing couldn't have been better. We arrived just before the rain started again. We were told that a couple other hikers might join us that night, but they never showed up, so we had the place to ourselves, which selfishly, I loved. Unsure if these tents are going to be used. Somewhere during the day, I'd also managed to develop a rash across my chest, neck, and face, probably from sweating nonstop and the humidity mixed with the sunscreen I was using. Part of the adventure, and I figured it would settle down soon enough. I hope you can hear me. I'm gonna be kind of quiet. My husband's taking a nap. Today was more tiring than I expected. There was a lot of mud today. That definitely slowed us down a little bit. Super beautiful. We saw toucans, other details. I've got a rash from something to be determined. I've been pleasantly surprised at every stop we've had so far, which I guess is only 2. We've had cold showers, which honestly has been lovely with this heat. So tomorrow our guide Jimmy is going to take us through stages 3 and 4, both of which require a guide. Stage 3 specifically because it is Indigenous land. It's not only for just safety, it's for a respect to the Indigenous territory and the peoples that live here. Stage 4, which has some cattle farms, combining them is only about 11 to 11 and a half miles. So that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. We're just gonna do the guided sections all together and then back to being on our own. Later, we were officially met by Alex and a few gracious hosts that brought us dinner and a banana for dessert. That wasn't our first visitation of the evening, though. Right before bed, we were greeted by a massive bromeliad spider that was definitely large enough to give us nightmares before falling asleep. We were too exhausted, however, to care, and crashed before a demanding day through the jungle tomorrow. That's all I got for now. I will update again on day 4, day 3.